Hi, so there's a couple of things I neglected to mention on the last video because my video froze like usual, but just some fun facts about the epic. We know that it was probably written between 700 BCE and 1200 BCE. We think that it was written down finally on animal skin. We also think it was in dactylic hexameter, so that would sound like ba 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 ba. That's what it kind of sounded like. And what else do I want to say? So the main gods involved in the Odyssey will be Athena, Poseidon, Hermes is involved a little bit. There's some nymphs and stuff involved. Zeus is involved just a little bit, but those are just some of the people that will be involved. But mostly Odysseus and Achilles, they'll be focusing on those characters who are human. So, but the gods are, of course, are intervening. So there's some rules about the epic. You have to have characteristics to be an epic. So you're going to write to me a journal that you, and you're going to define the epic, and you're going to tell me like what movie you saw, and you can't use my example. Okay, here I go. I'm going to talk about Lord of the Rings. No, I won't talk about Lord of the Rings. I'll let you talk about Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm going to talk about The Wizard of Oz because I'm old school. I've seen it many, many times. And it does follow the characteristics of epic. First of all, is it a poem? No, but it's musical. You have lots of songs, so that would tick off the box for Homer. It's musical. Another thing is an epic hero has to embody the ideals that our civilization holds as important. So she's a person who helps people, Dorothy is. She values her home. She values her elders. But when an elder is being sassy or unfair, she'll speak up because she doesn't care what punishment she has to endure. So the person kind of has to like earn her respect. So she's helpful. She helps these characters that are just forlorn. She's pretty clever, I'd say. She's confident. She's helped or harmed by interfering gods. Like here's an example, the witches. There's interfering wicked witch. There's a couple of other witches, right? And so they interfere in her life. And, I remember at one point, one of them looks through the glass at her and is spying on her, which is crazy. It's kind of like when she's spying on her through that gazing ball or whatever she has, the witch, how she has her flying monkeys. I think of that almost as like social media. I don't know if you've ever had like haters and they have followers and everything. They're flying monkeys and they're like spying on you. And so maybe you're the epic hero. I don't know. It just depends on, maybe you're the, wicked witch. So if you want to cast yourself in epic, who are you? That's another journal question I'm going to ask. I have to pause this really quick. Hold on. I'm on hold. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. So going back to this, I'm going to, like I said, I was going to have you tell me about an epic that you know about. So, okay, Dorothy, she is helped or harmed by interfering gods. We do know that. And if you were the star of your own epic, that was the other question I was going to ask you in the journal. Like, which character would you be? Like, tag yourself, So, epic plot. You have to, first of all, be kind of put into a perilous situation and nearly can't get out of that perilous situation. And usually that deals with these things. So, strange creatures, divine intervention. You're going to have large-scale events. That's like many nations usually are included in this. Like, think of the Munchkins and the witches and the other characters like the lion and all that. Treacherous weather is also part of an epic. And if you think of the Star Wars series, there's lots of planets where they do have treacherous weather. There's like a whole lava planet, so you could talk about that if you wanted to. Epic settings include fantastic or exotic lands, and they involve more than one nation as well. So it would be some sort of war that would qualify properly for an epic. And then also archetypes. I've kind of mentioned these on some of the other ed puzzles, but they're tropes. If you know that word, and if you don't know that word, an archetype is a character, situation, theme, or item that's seen across time and across culture. Here's an example. Everyone's searching for the fountain of youth. What is it? There's obviously these ones that are listed, but another archetype would be like the mama's boy. And I don't know if you've ever seen the water boy, but that character is usually very strong, like Achilles, but his mama is always like involved in everything he does. An oracle or some sort of soothsayer or fortune teller is a common archetype. Like no matter where you live and no matter when you live, there is usually a character like this. And so another one would be like a dark knight. This is another archetype. These are fun to think about because this is a great way to start your story. Like, what is my archetype going to be? But another really fun archetype is, I don't know, let me think. Okay. So the Dark Knight would be, this isn't my favorite one actually, but he or she has been tainted by the world, and they usually have a problem. Like maybe they are on movies. Sometimes they have like a psychological problem, or sometimes they have an alcohol problem, sadly. And they're tainted, so they can't really be this model citizen, but because they're tainted, they know the dark side of the world and they can combat it. So I've seen a lot of movies by Keanu Reeves. He's usually this Dark Knight, but you could actually in fact think of Batman. Hey, come on, I can pause this. It's okay. I'm not doing Here, let me pause it. Okay, I paused it. Okay, so I'm super annoyed because I lost the page that I was looking at. But basically, the epic hero has to undergo all these things. And there's a quest. Usually the epic hero has a quest that he or she has to be included in. Fun facts, Odysseus, he's our main character. He is king of Ithaca, but he gets called away to fight in this war because he made a promise that then he had to follow up on. I'm sure all of us have made a promise that we regretted, like, oh, I can remember so many times making promises and I'm like, oh, I have to fulfill it. And I always try to if I remember, but that kind of gets the better of him. So he has to be away from his family for 20 years. Now, fun fact, Odysseus is redheaded. So all you redheads out there, he is the original epic hero, James Bond type figure. And so in your journal, I need you to tell me about it, an epic hero. And you have to show me at least why this person qualifies. Give me 4 reasons why this character qualifies. And of course it could be fictional. Of course it could be on Netflix or it could be a Marvel comic hero, but you have to tell me 4 reasons why this character is an epic hero, like, and why he or she fulfills the requirements of this video. So the next part of the journal is tag yourself in epic. Which character are you? Or, if you're not even anything, maybe you're the ocean, and tell me why, like in the Odyssey, which character am I? Ooh, let me think about that one for just a little bit and I'll fill out a journal too. And then finally, the last thing is tell me 3 famous redheads besides Odysseus. Okay.